So hi guys, welcome to the second video on the Lokomotive BR41. This is where we're going to actually start properly building. Now I always do these intros before I've started building. I really should do them afterwards, but the problem is once I've assembled bits, it could take me a while. Sometimes it takes me a week to do everything for a video, and then by the time I come to do the introduction, I've forgotten what I've done, so I can't really sort of do the intro. So I'm going to do it first. So the plan is, at the time of speaking to you right now, I'm planning on doing the first 4 stages, which will take us to most of the bogies on the front. But I've looked at a couple of stages that might make it a little bit easier if we do them now. I don't think they'll take too long. For example, the actual main engine, there's a stage where we glue the 2 halves together, we put the front on, and then we tape it up and we leave it. And I think if there's going to be a seam line, that's definitely where there's going to be one. So if we got that glued up in this issue, we can deal with a seam line once all the glue is dried. And it's really just a case of preparing things for painting. So I shall waffle no more. Let's see how I get on. Okay, so the first thing we need to do for stage 1 is to cut off the pieces that we need to make the first part. Now this is going to be quite easy. Once we've glued all this up, the whole lot is going to be painted red, and then we'll move on to stage 2. Now it's going to be a bit of an issue because I don't know if you can see the numbers on there, probably not. These 8 wheels there all look exactly the same to me, but these 2 are numbered 14 and these 6 are numbered 15, so I'm going to assume there is a slight difference. And the same with these 2 are 16 and these 2 are, so they are different. But and then you've got these 4 pieces there's actually 2 different numbers. So I'm going to have to get a little bit creative, and I was going to leave them on the sprues and paint them, but it's going to be quite tricky to cut these off and leave that number on unless I cut this whole piece out here. I don't know, I'll work that out as I go. Right, so I'm going to do a little bit of an edit, and I'm just going to cut the pieces off so that we can do stage 1. Okay, that's section 1 done. It was a little bit fiddlier than I thought. I had a little bit of trouble with these because you've got 3 sections of a box, but you also need to get these in. So I did try to glue this on and maybe just stretch it a bit. That didn't work. But you've definitely got to get this onto one side first. These bits went on a treat. This one was very, very difficult, so I just re-drilled the hole. Because I had no idea what size the hole was, I just kept picking little drill bits. I found one that went through easily, so that was obviously too small, so I went 2 sizes up, and I found one that I just thought was just slightly too big, so I just drilled the hole, and that's gone in fine. Made a bit of a mess with the glue, but that's fine. I'll just give that a bit of a file at some point. Now, stage 2, I have a bit of a problem in that I want to paint the wheels off the model, so I want to stick these on as late as I can. However, and I don't think these are the wheels, the problem I've got is you've got these 2 are 14 and these 6 are 15, and they go 15, 15, 14, 15. Oh, one other thing, the parts are all listed as like 10A, 9A, 18B, 19B. I just assumed the letter refers to the sprue. This particular sprue is, can't find the label for it. This is sprue B, which does work with these wheels, but I don't think it's consistent. I don't know if they've made a mistake. So, but these wheels are 15 and 14. Now they look exactly the same to me, but because they're numbered differently, I'm going to assume they're not. So I need to either paint them on the sprue or find some way of labelling them. And I think that these bits are going to go on. Now this is a little bit weird. It tells us to put the wheels on first, and then it tells us to put these little bits on with the wheels in place. I think we can get these on first. Now these are going to be painted red with a little spot of tan, and I think that tan is going, I don't know, it's really hard to tell, and the box art doesn't really show you because you can't really see them. They're underneath there somewhere, so I thought I'll stick those on first, and then I'll go on to stage 3, because that's bits that are going to be glued onto here and painted red. So I'll do those little bits in stage 2B, then I'll go on to stage 3, and then what I'm going to do with the wheels is I will decide ad hoc whether I'm going to keep them on the sprue. It really doesn't matter if you paint them on the sprue, because what I'm going to do, these need to be red, and then the outside edges where the sprue attachments are going to be silver. There's a little bit of flash there. So the sprue attachment point is going to be silver, so that's why I don't want to stick them on just yet. So the 2 options that I have, which the first one I think is going to be the best, which is cut the big sprue off there and paint them. I'll airbrush them on the sprue. By the time I come to brush them, these are the pieces that I need to go on to the side, so they won't be there, so it won't interfere with that. The other alternative, I did try cocktail sticks, and the hole is bigger than a cocktail stick, as you can see, but these cotton buds are a little bit fatter, so if I cut the end of the cotton bud, I can just wedge that in, and I can put a bit of masking tape on the bottom of the cotton bud to tell me to just label the number, which will come in a little bit easier when we come to do the outsides, but I think I'll probably end up doing them on the sprue. Right, so let's crack on. Okay, so that is stages 1 to 3 complete, apart from putting the wheels on. Now, that was quite tricky. There was too many pieces, in my opinion, to make that up. However, by doing it in so many pieces, I guess they could have got better detail. But that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces just on that little piece there. Right, so all of this is going to be sprayed red, except for the little pieces inside there, which went on very well actually, and these are going to be done black, so we'll still spray them anyway. I think we'll just go over them, and this, oh, we've got this piece here to glue on. I haven't done that yet. I missed that out. I'll do that in a bit. But that's going to be red. Yes, it's all red apart from a couple of little bits. Now, one thing I noticed on the box art, this piece there is this, and you can see that's not black. That's like red underneath with the black wearing off. It's the same with this one. It's kind of a browny reddy black. So what I might do is I might spray them bits red, and then I might put a glaze of black over and just keep building that black up until it's almost black, because it's certainly not the same kind of black as this bit, is it? Anyway, so before I spray that, what I'd like to do now is move on to stage 8, which is the main engine-y bit. What do you call that? The boiler. I'll glue that together. I'm not going to do this piece there, or should I? I just want to get that glued up, and then it can sit there until the next video, and then I can finish the video off with the bit of airbrushing. Okay, that's actually pretty good. I couldn't see any positive stops, but once I actually dry fit, it just went click, so I was happy with that. So there are some definite seams there, but I'm confident that if we sand that, most of that will come out. But there's a little bit of sprue nub there I missed, but that's fine. So we'll let that one sit till the next episode. We'll sand that out in the next one. So all I need to do now is prime and paint this red, and then I will end the episode there. I just want to add something I forgot to mention. I know guys like to know what I'm using. Most of my building is done with extra thin cement. This is Tamiya, but there are other thin cements out there. I really like it because it goes into the, uses a capillary action. On that last bit, I used just ordinary cement. This is a lot thicker. It's actually thinner than your Humbrolls. But what I like about it is when you're doing a large area such as this, you can paint it on quite thin and it doesn't evaporate so quickly. With this, if I painted it all, by the time I get about halfway through, the first bit's completely evaporated. So it does, I believe that this does take longer to dry, and it is stronger. I can't verify that, but obviously you need to let this set you need to let all glues set anyway. Right, so guys, I'm going to set the airbrush up. Now in this particular instance I am going to use a primer of black primer, and I don't seem to have, I know I had a Tamiya red which I can't seem to find, so I'm going to cheat and I'm going to use Citadel Mephiston red. It's a red. This I've got X7 which is gloss red. I'm not sure how it's going to react with other things. Yeah, let's use Tamiya red, shall we? Unless my XF7 turns up, I think I might be in my hotel gear, because I think I might have taken it with me. But if I've got, I'd rather, when I want to do gloss, I would rather do a flat colour and then apply a gloss over the top. It's just the way I prefer to do it. Gives you a bit more control. But yeah, so yeah, let's get the airbrush set up. Okay, so I've got my little spray booth ready. Sorry, bear with me, I've got YouTube playing in the background. It's just starting to go really loud. There we go. So I've got my little spray booth. Put the glove on this time because I keep getting primer all over my hands and it's really hard to get the primer off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to prime it white, and then I'm going to prime it. I've actually found my XF7. It was exactly what I thought it was. So this is Tamiya flat red, and I'm going to be doing a little experiment here. I had one of those portable airbrushes and it was a bit useless, and I got another one that was recommended. The only thing I don't like about this is this plastic cup. The last one I had, it actually broke at the thread. Now the other one I had, it was constant airflow and used to pull back on the trigger. This will only come on, look, when you switch it on. So I'm going to give this a try. It'll either work well for me or it won't, and we'll know instantly. Yeah, and the primer that I'm going to use is Stylerez white. I find it's a very, very good primer for white, but I'm just going to have a little play inside the spray booth first, because I don't want to ruin the model, do I? And one of the things I like about these portables is that you can take the whole thing to the sink. That's nothing coming out of there. Yeah, it is flowing. Right. Yeah, that's not coming out. Yeah, that's useless, isn't it? Let's if I take the end off. Yeah, that's not coming out. Now that's usually ready to go primer, that is. I'll give it a little bit of a mix with a thinner. Oops, that didn't work very well, did it? Yeah, that's nothing. That's not happening there, is it? Okay, that idea didn't work, did it? So definitely air coming out, but it's not backflowing. This is the first time I've ever used this. I think that's all going to flow out of there, isn't it? Ah, there we go. The needle's not in there. This bit. Oh no, that is the whole thing. Oh, that's interesting. Oh well, so this exact airbrush was recommended to me by, well, not recommended to me personally, but it was actually recommended on a YouTube video. And as you can see, nothing's happening. So there's no flow, look. Oh well, that's right. Okay, so that's that idea. That was a bad idea. Okay, let's try that again. I am an absolute idiot. I actually had the lock. You know, you can adjust the paint flow on the back. I had that right forward, which is why nothing came out. So at least we know in that sense it works. So let's try again. So a little bit of primer. This nozzle is blocked on here. Right. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. Amazing. That's actually really nice. It's a little bit splattery. But you're not ever going to be able to do fine detail work with this anyway, because you can't control the airflow. Right, so when I prime, I do 3 stages. We have the first stage, which is a light dusting all over, like so, and that just gets a little bit of primer on the actual model, and there we go, done. Then the next coat, this might be a little bit too thick for this, I think it is. Yeah, let's just thin that down a little bit. Right. Right, so the second stage, once we've got a bit of dusting on there, we're looking for coverage. And we're looking to cover all of the model as much as we can. Now this primer isn't going to show up quite so much because it's going on to black plastic. But that's coping quite well. I am going to do the backs, even though you probably aren't going to see them. It's a situation of I know they're done. Can we see that okay, guys? And then the last pass is going to be like a wet pass. So you're going to chuck lots of primer on there. You're going to make sure you're in every little nook and cranny. Now, as I say, when I take these off the sprue, you're going to get that little bit on the end where the sprue is connected, and you're not going to get, you know, obviously there'll be no paint there. That's not going to be a problem because the outside rims are going to be silver. Let's make sure we get that fully covered. Primer is quite forgiving. If you put too much on, it shouldn't hide all the detail. There's not massive detail on these anyway. We do just want to make sure they're well coated. Make sure you get in all the angles. And make sure it is the colour that you're intending it to be. So in this case it's white, so we want to make sure it is white, which in most cases it is. You can see the difference there. and if need be we can go over again, but I think that's fine. Just trying to cover it from different angles because I want to get into those spokes. There we go. Right, that's the wheels done. So this is going to be a little bit trickier because there's all these nooks and crannies, but I think it's going to cope okay. I forgot to put that bit on, didn't I? Never mind, I'll do that last. One of the things I do like about this airbrush is the fact that it's so cleanable. It's so much easier to clean because I can take the whole compressor and everything to the sink and I'll just run it under a running tap. Obviously I'm using acrylics, so you can do that with acrylics. Obviously if there's a lacquer based paint or enamel, you would have a different cleanup process. But acrylics, you can just clean them with water. I can't believe I missed that little bit out, you know. Now one thing I have noticed about this portable airbrush, it's getting warm very quickly. I certainly wouldn't use it for long length of time. So you'll notice I'm not going all the way down. That's because I'm, oops, that bit's just broken off. That's going to need re-gluing on, I think. No, I think I got away with that. I'm going to go on the inside because I think the inside might be seen. Probably won't, but if you ever pick the model up, which is a very rude thing to do, I think. If someone comes along and picks your model up, it's not very good, is it? Right. Now this bit here is going to be mostly black anyway, but I'm still going to do it red. Like I said, I want to try and recreate that reddy black. Right, so let's find the piece that I've missed out, which is piece number 36A. So 36A. Don't know if I've not got, right, there we go. 36A is there. Oh, that's nice and easy to get to, isn't it? So if I cut the sprue there, there and there, I'll have a nice big piece to hold on to. So yeah, it's not a deliberate error. I did miss that out, but when when it all dries, that'll just go in like that. But this is quite useful. Now the drawback with this, I like to use the airbrush, just the air, to help me dry the paint. You can't do that with this because it's well, you could actually, you could turn that off. So now all we've got is a little bit too much going on there, a little bit too much too thin. Right, I've got some areas there that I'm not happy with. Just looking for the bits that I've missed. Check the wheels. Yeah, that's good. If you use really thick paint, you could end up stopping those from moving. Right, I'm happy enough with that. So what I'm going to do, off camera, I'll wait for that to dry. I'll go and make myself a bit of lunch, I think. And then once that's dry, I'll do it off camera, but I'll just pop that little bit. All it's doing is just, I've got to glue that onto there, like that. And then I'll touch up the primer if it needs it. And then I'll come back to you when I've got the airbrush ready with the red. And then we'll get that redded up. I'll see you shortly, guys. Okay, so I've mixed up some XF7 red in a little pot. Normally I mix it straight into the airbrush, but it's a new airbrush. I'm still playing about with it. So this is just slightly more paint than it is thinner, and I think I've done way too much there, but never mind. The reason I don't like mixing pots is it's a mess. Oh god, there we go. Oh, that's quite nice. That's coming out really nice, actually. Right, see how we get on then. So we'll do the wheels first. Nice. I'm just going to do light passes. I'll do maybe 2 or 3 coats rather than try and get it all done in one coat. Red is a very strong colour, so it does show up quite well. Oh, this is going to look really nice. I think it's interesting that the first colour that we're going to do on a black train is red, but that's really nice. Get the edges done, even though we're going to paint over the edges. Just make sure you get in all the nooks and crannies. It'll be better if I hold it there, won't it? I'm not concerned with doing complete coverage on the first pass. It looks like I'll do 3 passes in the end. I'll do 1 pass just to get a coat down, and then a second pass just to do a solid coat, and then we'll do a 3rd coat just to pick up any bits that we've missed. See how I'm concentrating on the spokes now, making sure I get right in those. That's really nice. 2nd coat is really strong. Liking that. This is why I wanted a white primer. I really wanted that red to come out. If I'd have used black, it would have been quite dark. Yeah, that's nice. Very nice, happy with that. You can see the difference between the first coat and the second coat. I might want a 3rd coat. We'll see how it comes out when it dries. Check inside all of the spokes. There's some I missed there. Right, I'm confident I've got all of it. Right, so I'll let that dry there, and then we'll see what it looks like on once it's dry. So I've got to be careful here now, haven't I? Because I've already broken that bit. Well, I didn't break it, but right. Can't believe how the fact that this this kit is still available, and secondly, it's really cheap. Having said that, I did watch a show, a live show. They were talking about costs of kits, and obviously the main cost for the manufacturer when they first bring a kit out, it's going to be very expensive because they spent a lot of money on the moulds. But if they're still producing the same kit many years later, obviously the kit has been paid for. So you would sort of think, well, maybe they can afford to reduce the cost of the kit or not put the price up so much. And it looks like maybe that's what they've done with this kit. You know, maybe it was, you know, back in the 80s, £16 for a kit would have been a lot of money. I can't remember the cost of living back in the 80s, but, you know, maybe that was about the going rate for a kit like this. But now that the kit's made its money, I'd like to think, you know, they've not maybe not needed to put the cost of the kit up. Right, some really tricky nooks and crannies in there, and I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, how on earth did I get the white primer on? But I just can't seem to reach some of the areas. But I will be coming in from the bottom as well. That's really nice. See, quite often all it takes is just to add a bit of colour, and then it really does set it off. Now those wheel spokes, they're going to be tricky to get, and I might end up having to do those with a brush. As you see, they don't rotate that well. Yeah. So far it's a good little airbrush. As long as you remember to adjust this properly. That's where I had the problem the first time. So I'm just going over some of it for a second time. I know I've not done a first pass on all of it, but just make sure I get that solid coat in places. So I don't think I need to be bothered about the inside, but I know it's done then, don't I? I think I've got some areas that not only am I not getting with the red, but I don't think I got with the primer either. Yeah, I'm rather happy with that. Right, so now they've dried off, let's have a look at these wheels. It's still a little bit damp in places, but yeah, I'm really happy with that coverage. Right guys, so that is this done. So we've got steps 1 to 4 complete. 1 to 3, 1 to 3, 1 to 4, 1 to 3 is complete, and that's looking quite nice. So let's have a little look. I know this isn't what it's going to look like, but yeah, that's obviously going to go something like that, and then the tender will go there. But yeah, it's looking nice. I'm rather happy with that, guys. Right, so what I'm going to do is I will end it there. So we've got this other piece done as well, but I really want to give that a good overnight, and then we'll give that the attention it deserves. This is, what did we say this was? This is step 8, isn't it? Yeah, stage 8. So we'll do this when we get to stage 8, and I think we've definitely looking like we've got a good model coming along. So yeah, guys, I'll catch you in the next video. Thank you for watching, and in the next issue I'm going to aim to do stages 5 to 8. So yeah, take care, guys.